Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I am your host, Mike Byrne, aka Magicman. We've got news, we've got some bad news, we've got some good news, we've got some weird news, and then we've got some first looks. We're going to go through all of it, but helping me get it all started today with episode 309, filmed on the 15th of August, 2019. You're watching it on the 16th or later. Mr. Jason Winter, how are you?
I'm doing okay, and I'm still confirmed this is Mike and not his daughter.
This is Mike. I am
Okay.
still Mike. Jason not used to seeing me signed into my Epic Games account. We'll get there, and why I might have been signed into that yesterday. Also on the line, Ms. Quinlan Bowers. How are you?
I'm good. I am going to warn you now. I got the little poor internet connection pop up, so.
Uh-oh. Here we go again.
Well,
Here
I was
we
one with
go
internet
again.
problems last. See, I am indispensable to this show, though. When I'm offline, they don't even do it. So.
Yeah,
I
so-
know. I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I could just leave now and nobody cares.
Oh, no. Last week was a bit weird. So Thursday, we were looking at what was available to do a show, and we decided, okay, there's kind of like enough here that we could probably cobble something together and make it at least semi-interesting. Maybe it'd be a little shorter than normal. Fine. We've done that before. So we made the call, hey, let's wait until Friday. We'll just record on Friday. We'll post it on Friday. And see if we can't get any news throughout all day Thursday and early Friday. And then Friday, as I'm putting together the show notes, Jason texts me to let me know his internet is out. So we're like, okay, fine, maybe we'll record a little later than normal. And then I get a text that says, hey, the ETA is 2 in the morning. And we're like, well, fuck the show. It ain't happening this week.
It came back at like 11 p.m., so they at least were ahead of that. But yeah, a little late for the show then.
Under promise, over deliver. That's what they did. But we've got a show for you this week, so let's start with the news. All right, so first up, kind of last week, and it rolled into this week, it hasn't been a great 2 weeks for the bigger battle royales out there. Not just in, general news and, oh, hey, there was this and that, but just like even financially and with swatting and with deals being pulled from TV. It's just been a weird 2 weeks for the two bigger battle royales out there, Fortnite and Apex Legends. So let's kind of start it off with Fortnite because it was, I think, arguably a worse 2 weeks for Apex Legends. So let's
Well,
go ahead.
two biggest battle royals, you're talking about H1Z1 and Realm Royale, right?
Right.
Yeah,
H1Z1 averaging 400 players at any given point. It's doing fantastic, which still has more than Nova Blitz with 1.
Random.
As you can tell, we were having some fun with Steam charts before the show. All right, so let's get started with Fortnite. So first up, Fortnite Q had to kind of backpedal a little bit and issue a refund over something they were trying to get some moolah on, but I think they already got moolah for this, so they tried to do it again, a little double dip, if you will.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it was very blatant, obviously. Basically, they had put out a dog named Gunner. I think I'm getting the names in the right order.
Yeah.
In one of their packs, and then they came along later on and offered a dog named Bonesy, which is just I don't know who's naming the dogs, but it effectively same color dog, that German Shepherd color. The difference being the little green scarf has like a little I don't know what like a white wing icon thing. And it's got like a little yellow mask. And he costs, I think, 50 V-Bucks more than the pack that the other dog came in. Where I'm kind of weirded out, like a little surprised on the refunds, right, is that the people who bought, they had to have known what they were buying, didn't they? Like,
You would think. So here's doggo number 1. And doggo
right, no little white
number
thing
2.
and no mask.
And a mask you can barely see on that one because it's almost the same color as his fur.
Yeah, it's like they literally put a ski mask, a
Right,
yellow
it's
ski
yellow
mask on him.
and- on a German Shepherd.
Yes, because they're known for robbing places. So let's give him a ski mask. Needless to say, Jason, people weren't thrilled. Namely, they took to Reddit, of course, and not only did they point out, hey, the dog's the same damn thing, basically, but he also cost 50 more V-Bucks on his own than the entire Season 6 Battle Pass did. And so Epic ended up issuing some refunds.
Yeah, I mean, and the other issue there, of course, was that, Battle Pass rewards supposed to be only in the Battle Pass. So when this came along, and yeah, technically it wasn't the exact same thing, but that kind of was an issue on its own. And the issue I have, though, is the fact that you wear this as a backpack, so other people can basically shoot at the dog to try and kill you.
That's pretty terrible. That's pretty awful.
When I first saw something when I saw a controversy about dog backpack in Fortnite, that's what I thought it was. I thought people were upset about that, but no, it was just
there's cats, there's
they're
hamsters.
probably shooting the dog.
Can you wear the cat?
There's cats, there's hamsters on wheels, there's all kinds of things in that back bling slot. So
I suppose so.
Yeah,
but yeah, like you said, they did go ahead and refund people's money on that, saying that they should not have released the gunner pet and apologize for doing so.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk about, because that statement bothers the shit out of me. If you knew you should not have released the gunner pet and you apologize for doing so, then that means on the front end of this, you knew exactly what you were doing. And then it's only because of the backlash that you got busted doing it that you're making a statement saying, hey, we probably should not have done that. And, oh, mea culpa, mea culpa. But they knew. They knew. Yeah. This was an attempt by Epic to resell the same thing. Let's slightly skin it differently, and we'll make the same money off of the damn thing again. Ends up costing the money, although, how much it actually
V-Bucks,
as much as it costs them anything here, right? Not only did they refund it, but anybody that bought it also got an additional 200 V-Bucks, so to use as they see fit, which is chump change. I mean, that's like nothing in the V-Bucks world. Gotta say, very disappointed with Epic Games. This seemed shady and seemed like we're only sorry because we got caught, not because we actually didn't realize, oh my god, that looks really similar to something we've already done. Thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, though? If they had just actually colored the dog a completely different color and maybe issued him for a lower price. Because how many pets and mounts and stuff have we bought that have just been reskins?
Yeah.
Right? So if he had just been a completely different color, like a dark brown or a red or something like that, and he'd been a lower price, I bet you they wouldn't have gotten the complaints.
Even the backpack is the same color. The backpack and
the backpack's exactly
underneath
the same.
That's the same too. It's like,
way to go, Epic. Now, not Epic's fault, but Fortnite related. The world champion, 16-year-old who took home $3 million, brought it back to my home state of Pennsylvania. I had nothing to do with it, but I'll claim credit because we happen to live in the same geographic area. Got swatted. There's a way to celebrate. You just won, Kyle. What are you going to do? Well, I'm hoping somebody calls the cops while I'm streaming. Ugh. So apparently Kyle was playing, doing his stream, left for about 10 minutes, came back and told everybody that there were cops with guns at the door. Somebody had swatted him. Luckily, this one, didn't get too out of hand. Turned out one of the cops in the area lived on the street, knew the family, thought the call was weird. So they did have weapons out, but they didn't, start kicking doors down and shit like we've seen in other swatting situations. I am so over the whole swatting thing. The first time I ever saw it, I was like, that's stupid. That is just dumb. And here we go again. Apparently, it's just not going to go away, Jason.
I want to say I read somewhere that some law enforcement officers are actually getting a register made up of people who stream in their area, so that if there was a call to their place, they'll know it's probably fake or something like that. So at least there maybe
that's the answer I want for this, right? Have the local authorities with a list of everybody that's streaming and their streaming schedules and have to cross-reference that.
Well, for the 2 or 3 people maybe in your town who are important enough to get swatted, because it's going to be this guy in Ninja and whoever else, the big time stream. I've never been swatted on. Please don't, not inviting anything, but I don't think I'm in too much danger of that. But I don't.
Ugh, I'm over it. I'm over it. Stop it. That's stupid. That's just really dumb. I am happy to see, though, that a lot of these jurisdictions are now tracking down the original callers and pressing charges. So that's good. Q beating the hell out of her keyboard for some reason. Just screw this keyboard. Final piece on Fortnite. There is a lawsuit going on, Q. Some class action lawsuit over some hacked accounts. Can Q not hear us?
Oh, Q.
Q.
Hello.
Can you hear us, Q?
She cannot hear. Hello. Hello.
Oh, she dropped from Skype.
Okay, well, we're talking about her internet, so yeah.
All right, so Epic is on the receiving end of a class action lawsuit over some hacked accounts filed by Franklin Diazar and Associates. It does accuse Epic, Jason, of failing to maintain adequate security measures and notify users of the security breach in a timely manner. And about 100 people have joined it as of the time of the writing of the article, which was like a week ago. So I imagine there's probably a lot more than 100 on there now. Does this go anywhere?
I don't know about maintaining.
Whoa, where?
Hello. I don't know about the whole maintaining proper security measures, but in terms of notifying you, I remember we used to get like 3 times a day someone was trying to access your Epic Games account notification.
Oh yeah. Oh,
but
God.
yeah, in general though, I mean accounts get hacked and it sucks, but unless they are just completely negligent, like they're just posting people's passwords on their site, or let's say like the ESA basically.
Yeah.
I don't think an actual lawsuit's going to go anywhere.
So I'm fixing cameras on the fly here while you're chatting. So
want me to introduce the next topic?
Yeah, go for it.
All right,
Let's start talking about Apex Legends.
Apex Legends also had a really, really crappy couple of weeks here. First of all, again, speaking of poor security and getting your account stolen or whatever, oh, hey, I'm in the middle now.
There you go.
All right.
It's not quite 16:9, but I had to do it on the fly.
Close enough. Some players apparently did get their data stolen, but they kind of sort of deserved it because they were using cheats.
Little bit.
Little bit.
Like, obviously I don't want anybody's real life stuff stolen and shit like that. But if you're using sketchy software, that's kind of got to be like, right, you take the risk. It's a known risk that you're taking.
The YouTube video said it's 100% free and I'll never get caught. What do you mean there's a risk?
Tracked about 500 to 600 instances of the software, mostly in the US, Brazil, Russia, and Indonesia. But they said it was effective at bursting in, grabbing everything, and rushing out again.
So kind of like a Battle Royale player.
Zing. Zing.
I just came up with that, too. That wasn't like pre-planned. I just read that line and said that worked perfectly.
As if, like, when it rains, it pours, Apex Legends, in the heat of all of this, was then taking its own heat for selling during the Iron Crown event, selling collection packs that players actually had to buy if they wanted to get the entire heirloom set. Like, you could get 1 or 2 in gameplay, but the rest you had to end up buying to have a chance of winning these. And it was almost like $150. I think on a Jim Sterling video, he priced it at about $170. So little fluctuation depending on where you're watching the reporting going and who's playing and whether they factored in discounts as far as buying keys and stuff in bulk. But yeah, so once again, a battle royale, Jason, deciding let's milk it. And again, are you more surprised by Epic or by EA? Right?
Well, based on what we're going to talk about a little later on, I'm less surprised by EA, based on how the game is going. So.
Yep. Again, going to gun violence, since we talked about being swatted, Apex Legends had its own bit of a run-in. Now, they didn't actually do anything wrong here, but the thing was, Apex Legends was going to be aired in part on ESPN and ABC for their EXP Invitational Apex Legends at X Games. Now, the whole event wasn't going to be there. They were going to come in, highlight some things, come there a few, and then come back in like 40 minutes later. Show stuff like that. In between other things on ESPN and ABC. But due to a recent round of shootings in the United States, our condolences to all those families involved in those situations. Q, don't message me. Skype just popped up. Due to those rounds of shootings, ESPN and ABC made the decision not to air the TV broadcast. You could still find it on stream, but it was not aired on TV. So here's the thing I got to ask, Jason. I understand the decision. I kind of get it. But to me, it also falls into, I can understand the gut reaction is what I'm talking about. That okay, violence, let's take the violent thing down. We'll do it next weekend. But I hate the overall decision itself. I get the gut reaction, and should we do this? I hate them actually doing this. I think it just adds to that whole video games are tied to real-life violence argument that people like to make, which I don't ascribe to. So I hate the decision. I understand the thought process behind maybe deciding to do it, but the fact that they, pardon the expression, pulled the trigger on this decision, I'm not a fan of. What about you?
I think the gut reaction was due to one certain person in particular talking about violence in video games and being the cause of the shootings, and not, the guy with the gun. But
yeah,
anyway,
and you know what? Politically, it doesn't matter because somebody brings up this argument from any sides of the political spectrum. Anytime this type of stuff happens, so I don't even think it's worth looking at who said what, because this has been said every time there's an event like this. In the United States in particular, from left, right, center, really doesn't matter. Somebody brings up the video games cause violence argument, just like the rock and roll argument, the TV argument, and now the video game argument, and 15 years from now it'll be, the VR argument. I don't know. The argument never goes away, and it comes from all sides of the political spectrum. I hate the decision. I understand considering it, but I think that, hey, it's a game. It's a video game. Mm-hmm. You're scheduled to air it. Go ahead and do it. And I think Apex Legends loses out a little bit here on this one, because that's some good, whether people watch cable or not, totally another discussion for another time. It is good exposure that the game could have used based on something we're going to talk about in a minute here.
Yeah, and I watch Overwatch League stuff, and I watch it all on Twitch, but they also have some games that are occasionally on ABC-owned properties, including ABC, the Disney Channel, and so on. That's also a shooter that didn't get pulled. So what's the reasoning behind that? I wonder. It's like, what did Apex Legends do to get this treatment that nothing else did? And I also assume ABC didn't pull any violent movies off the air that they were going to air. So
All right, so you're going to have to walk me through this one because I didn't get a chance to actually dig into what happened here. But apparently some Apex Legends producer went kind of nuts and insulted some players on Reddit.
In response to that whole Iron Crown event and the loot boxes and how much they cost and so on, some players, as you said, on Reddit got a little upset with things, which,
understandably, they were in the right. Now, whether they expressed themselves in a way that makes sense, they may not have. But to be upset about it, I think they were in the right.
Yeah, and certainly some of them, I haven't dug into it personally, but I assume that some of them got a little over the line, talking about death threats and so forth and all that sort of crap. And so executive producer Drew McCoy got on. He got on to Reddit and said his team will not engage with temper tantrums, and then also said he could remember when players weren't complete asshats to developers. He also went on about, I thought he said something about freeloaders too, about how some players are freeloaders. That was something else I read on a different site, but I'm not seeing it in his actual quote here. But in general, though, then he got responded to by the player who kind of got on him a bit. I don't think I'm reading that guy's response. That guy did not. Actually, no, this is not the same guy. Where is the guy that he responded to? I'm trying to get through this.
Yeah, he called him a dick too.
Maybe that's where he used the dick in the other language or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's a guy responded to Drew McCoy, and then McCoy responded back to that. The guy that responded to McCoy used some colorful language, and then McCoy again responded. And first of all, McCoy says he will not engage with temper tantrums.
Yeah.
Someone responds to him with a temper tantrum, and then he responds
he responds to it.
Calling the poster a dick, and that his comment doesn't warrant a reply, which he replied to.
But then he replied anyway.
So, yeah. big old problem there. And then, of course, that escalated things, further down the line and so forth. And eventually, the CEO of Respawn had to step in and say he had to say he defends his people, but his guy didn't do the right thing. So it's like, just shut up.
On Friday,
get PR professionals to do this for you.
Yeah, this was Vince Zampella's response.
Yeah.
On Friday, we gave Apex Legends fans an update on how we were changing the Iron Crown event, which they needed to. Some of the team then joined a discussion with our community on Reddit, and things got to a pretty bad place. Some of our folks crossed a line with their comments, and that's not how we want Respawn to be represented. So far, so good. I apologize to any of our fans that were offended. I will always stand behind the team here at Respawn and support them on speaking out against some of the toxic and nasty comments being directed at them, including everything from death threats to comments aimed at their family and loved ones. But we shouldn't contribute to it when we do comment and add to the very thing we want to prevent. We need to lead by example. Last week, we didn't do that. And going forward, we will be better. Having an open, healthy relationship with our community is incredibly important to all of us at Respawn. Oh my god.
Hey, it's Q.
Q jumped back in, and now my camera shots are all screwed up again.
Sorry.
Oh, man. So, you know what? I don't have a problem with...
I asked.
Right, but I can't respond to you on Skype when I'm in the middle of recordings.
I can share a box with her. It's okay.
No, here's Winter's solo shot. God damn, professionals here, professionals, people, professionals. All right, let's see if I can get Jason.
This means nobody can pick their nose off camera.
Right, this means nobody is gonna be actually 16:9.
Sorry.
I'm gonna get you as close as I can, while doing it on the fly very quickly. So I don't have any problem, Jason, with Vince's comment. I actually thought he did the right thing. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna stick up for people, my employees, saying, hey, we don't want this. We're not gonna respond to that type of thing, but we took it too far." I didn't think it was one of those like, I'll stand behind my guys even when they're doing something wrong.
Sure.
So I kind of dug the way that it was handled there. Here's my thing on this one. Boy, this is just like slapdash. There we go.
There we go. Everything.
Yeah, sorry about little spacing issues, guys. You understand. I'm fixing it on the fly so that we don't have to stop the show and fix it all. I don't like obviously that this happened. I'm trying to figure out how to delicately word this. I don't think that producer should be a producer anymore. I honestly think that what happened went too far. Drew McCoy, like, basically went nuts. I would, even if he had not used some of the language that he didn't, not going to engage with, a dick, and doesn't want to... I hate the argument of, well, if you're going to act like that, Jason, we're not going to have this discussion. That's very condescending to me to begin with. Like, if you and I are having a discussion and I say something that you don't like, you disagree with or whatever, but I did it in, maybe we're having a heated argument, we're yelling, but we're not attacking each other, but we're at the top of our voice. I think it's very condescending to pull the old, well, I'm not going to talk to you if you continue to act like that. That does not defend the people that are sitting there saying vitriolic things, and death threats is just stupid. Stop that, people. Are you kidding me? But I do think that even without the language, this was a condescending move by the producer. You know what you do? Nothing. It's the easiest thing to do in response. You don't want to engage in that? You don't want to deal with that? You don't want to reply to that? Then don't reply at all. Just leave it alone. Start commenting on the people that aren't doing that. People will get the point very, very quickly. I don't understand why it escalated to this point. And honestly, if you're the executive producer on a game, you have, particularly a game this big, you have done this before. You know that type of shit's going to happen on the internet. Just walk away from it. Where were the adults in the room is my question, I guess.
You see, I kind of have to disagree with you on that. I think ignoring that kind of shit doesn't make it go away. I'm not saying the correct answer is to get on there and wade in the shit more. There should be, ideally, there would be some way to actually track that sort of thing and then ban their account or whatever. But if people are getting online and if they are literally threatening me or my family,
No, that's
then
different. That's
well,
different.
yeah. Well, if he's just but I assume he was responding to the people who were like that, and not the people who were just like, "This game sucks, I hate it." If he responded to that sort of thing like that, then yeah, that's stupid. And I don't actually know what he was. He doesn't have. Let's see, show parent comments. Let's see if I can see here. Yeah, if he was responding to. Okay, so it says here. This is the direct response. This is the thing that he responded to with his first comment. $20 is a lot better than gambling with those crown packs. They listened, they heard it. Hopefully, the next event will be improved. At least that does not seem like something he would respond to badly. At least they're communicating with us. Probably why they didn't respond so quickly because of so much backlash. I like Respawn. I respect them. Thanks for the update. And then Drew said his first comment where he's talking about people being complete asshats. So clearly, it wasn't directly a response to that guy.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
So he wasn't even like directly responding to anybody who was being a jerk in the first place.
Yeah. It
so
was only
it's kind of just a general thing thrown out, which kind of makes it worse.
Go ahead, Q.
It seems like he was responding to a comment that referenced those people, though, right? Like it was in the middle of all the other good job guys, you responded to us, whatever. But it was there was a line in there going, it probably took him so long because yada yada yada. And I feel like that's what he was responding to.
Well, he said they didn't respond quickly because of much backlash, which I think is not anything bad. I mean, obviously, because of the backlash, they took a little while to figure out what they were going to say. So I don't think that was any sort of...
Right, no, but like he's building on that comment, basically, with the rest of this, is the way I mean that.
Yeah, I think it was very unwarranted. It kind of comes out of nowhere and almost starts the asshat discussion.
Yeah.
By just it
didn't start as much as it continued. It
definitely furthered it. I don't know, and maybe fine. Maybe making him not the executive producer is a bit extreme.
Should not be talking to people unfiltered on Reddit.
Right.
I think that's.
Yeah. Hey, EP, have your Reddit count closed. Maybe. Okay, fine. So you talked me off the ledge from firing the guy. That's fine. Particularly, I've been in this business long enough to know. Well, then you know that it ain't like that anymore. Then you know that you can't go do this on the internet without having a bunch of backlash on your own damn company. Don't tell me how long you've been in to know that everybody was copacetic back then. Yeah, back then politicians were honest too, and
that was never the case.
And milk was cheaper, and bread was cheaper, and it was.
And there weren't loot boxes in every game.
Yeah, it was always much better in the past. Fine, great. Put on those nostalgia glasses and just pretend that gamers were all great people back then, and none of them were assholes and dicks. We just didn't have a medium where we could readily identify the assholes and dicks. If you have that type of experience, then you also know that's just not what the gaming world is anymore. So you should have evolved with that to just say, you know what? I'm going to comment where it's appropriate for me to comment. Not going to comment where it's just not appropriate or I don't think it's going to be constructive. Because it's not like they were in a forum where they had to comment at all.
Mm-hmm.
They could have just put a post up on their site saying that they were going to change it, lock it, call it a day.
Apparently, this was in response to Zampella's statement. Or no, not to that, but
not that part.
Iron Crown stuff. Yeah.
To the Iron Crown stuff. So, last but not least for Apex Legends, there might be a reason that they're charging for some things here, Jason. What's going on? Still making money, but it is an EA title, and it ain't making all the money, apparently.
Yeah, the latest report from SuperData came out on July games, and interestingly, they give a special note to Apex Legends. Said they brought in $37 million for the month of July, which sounds like a good amount of money, but that's double what it made in June. So it was down to like around $18 million or so in June, and still roughly half of what Season 1 earned in March. And I thought I remembered it made like $90 million in February, its first month out. So half of that, so it'll be like around 70 or so in March. So it's already down to like 20, 30 million now, which granted, games do tend to come down a bit, but that's not even, I don't know if that usually even a decent battle royale, like you look at PUBG, we talked about H1Z1, talk about stuff like that, Fortnite, they built up for a while.
Yeah.
They debuted pretty big, but then they kept going because like this. Whereas Apex seems like it's doing the typical game where it just starts big and then goes right down. So I don't know what to make of that.
Are you worried?
I mean, worried in the sense I don't think it's going to like shut down in the next few months or anything like that. But I am a little worried that we might see a few more iffy monetization
Iron Crown
practices.
decisions.
Yeah. maybe even dogs with new skins or something. Who knows
Oh no.
But yeah, I think they're a little antsy about what they're doing.
Q, you a little worried for the old Apex Legends?
Well, I wonder if we should take into account that when Apex Legends launched, they'd spent a lot of money and time paying, high-end streamers to stream their shit continuously for 2 weeks or something. And I'm guessing they're not doing that anymore. And all of those people went back to doing whatever it was that they would normally do if they weren't being paid to play Apex Legends, which means all of their, followers are back doing whatever they would have done if the people that they normally watch stream weren't streaming Apex Legends.
Well, and that could certainly be a little bit of a hit. I don't think that's the 90 million to 20 million difference. Certainly, you're spending less in advertising, so you've got less bounce back from that advertising, sure. But I think that's a really big drop-off really quickly. I would be concerned about the long-term future of the game. To Jason, your point, I don't think it's closing next week or anything, but it's also a company like EA, So is it going to be here the end of the year? Probably. I mean, probably. What about halfway through next year? That's kind of where I start going, I don't know. If this trend continues, no. EA doesn't sit around and wait and give things a chance to rebound, or let's see what happens when we drop the latest update. It's just, hey, it just ain't doing it anymore. Cut it.
The other point they made, I remember a while back, was we're not going to crunch. We're going to put content out a little more slowly, but we're not going to burn out our team doing it. So
Yep.
How's that working for you? I'm looking also at the Twitch page. Apex Legends currently has 25,000 viewers. Fortnite 139,000.
Cool.
PUBG 45,000.
Wow.
So.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on it, but not a great 2 weeks for the big battle royales out there. In weird news today, so last week we would have just been talking about a countdown that had appeared online. This week now, since Monday has passed and we found out what the countdown was all about, we can actually talk about the news itself. So last week, Gamigo put up a countdown to something. And on the website, it was flashing quotes from reviews of a previously existing game. Most of these quotes were pointed directly at things like the game previously being paid to win, problems with different systems in the game that players weren't a fan of, and just kind of said, wait until you see what we've got. Later in the week, those same quotes would flash on the Countdown website, and Gamigo would have quotes of their own replying back to these items. Like, I didn't like the pay to win. Well, we think you're going to love what we have in store. It's not going to have the pay to win. I wasn't able to get a house. It didn't take any amount of time to figure out that the game that they were talking about was ArcheAge. In fact, if you just watched the scroll of these reviews, there were a couple things in there that immediately told you this was ArcheAge. Things like the loyalty points. It's not called the loyalty points. What is it?
Labor points?
Labor points, thank you. The labor points were mentioned and stuff like that. So we knew for all last week that Gamigo was apparently doing something with ArcheAge. And Monday we found out what it was. And Q, give us the little rundown on what it is, and then we'll start getting some opinions on whether this was the right thing to do or not.
I mean, basically, they just decided, hey, let's do this again. Well, first, let's steal it's Unleashed for Bless, isn't it? It's Unchained for ArcheAge, though. So ArcheAge Unchained, and let's just basically redo it again and make it buy to play, because that makes sense. And do whatever changes, that they're apparently touting via all their little scrolly things of the stuff that they intended to change to make it a better game. Which, I don't know.
First of all, Age of Conan is Unchained.
Unchained, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. I knew something was Unchained. I was thinking of Unleashed. Bless Unleashed
Bless
when
is
I saw it the
Unleashed.
last time.
Dungeons and Dragons Online is unlimited.
So these are all the ungames.
Yes, and then there was what's that zombie game? The cheap zombie game like Unleashed or something. What is that?
Well, wasn't Orcs Must Die Unchained as well?
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Oh yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a bit weird. ArcheAge, the free-to-play game, notoriously known for, or at least viewed by many that play it, as being more on the pay-to-win side than on the not pay-to-win side. Housing does become an issue. Labor points accruing at different rates for subs and freebies and all that stuff. There are some imbalances. So what they're going to try and launch it as a buy-to-play game, Jason, years and years after. Doesn't this just seem dumb?
It seems desperate more than anything. This is Defiance 2050 again, basically. We're going to relaunch our old game that nobody plays and hope we get a little more money out of it, especially making it buy to play. Hopes, a little better chance of getting money out of it. We know everyone talked about how much they loved Alpha of ArcheAge. We're going to try and milk that nostalgia for a little while, try to get a few more purchases in. And around middle of next year, we'll probably shut the whole thing down because it's not doing well enough. Yeah, that's my official early prediction.
Well, yeah, and we talked about that in the chat while we were watching this all unfold on Monday, and I think I said on there, doesn't this feel like if this doesn't work, it's both of them are shutting down? Because here's the thing: they're not migrating. You're still going to have the free-to-play version of the game, and you're going to have in tandem the buy-to-play version of the game. You can't move your account. You don't get your cosmetics to go with you or anything. So if you've been playing ArcheAge for a while, and you like it, and you've spent money in it, and you've been playing it, you got your house, and you got all that stuff, feel free to stay on the servers that if you read their comments on this Unchained stuff, they already know are unfair. Feel free to stay there and continue to spend the money. But if you want to go to the buy-to-play one, the one that's more fair, that's better, that has everybody on the same playing field, nothing comes with you. You got to buy into it, just like everybody else. So if you bought a Founders Pack for the free-to-play one, get ready to buy a Founders Pack again just to get into the buy-to-play one. I don't like this at all if you're an ArcheAge fan. I kind of am okay with this if you're like me, Jason, right? You played ArcheAge very briefly when it came out, and you immediately said, nope, there is too much bullshit here for me. I don't want it. I kind of like some of the things you're doing with the game, but as far as monetization, nope, I'm out of here. I kind of like it from that perspective. Maybe it gets players like me to give it a second shot. I think price is going to be a huge factor. Mm-hmm. I'm not paying more than $20 to go try that out. And even $20, I'm kind of like, eh. You try and make this a 3 founder pack, $30, $50, $80 deal. Nah, fuck it. I don't need to be bothered with it. You put out a $10 or a $15 or a $20 thing. All right, fine. Maybe I'll give it a whirl and check it out because there were things I liked about the game, but the monetization turned me off. I think it's good for those people. My question is, all these years later, all those people have moved on to other things, Q. They don't care about this anymore. They don't care about this anymore. And this has got to really piss off longtime ArcheAge players, I would think. You longtime ArcheAge players, let me know how you feel about this one, because I think you're getting the short end of this stick. Q, am I nuts?
No, I think you're pretty spot on. It's just, like you said, if you're already in there and you can't transfer any of your stuff, it's a huge deal. That stuff that you worked for, that that says, oh, I was one of the first people here, like all of that stuff is super freaking important in the realm of your gaming life. And if you can't bring that shit with you, what's the point of packing up and going?
Yeah.
Or at least get some sort of reward, like we were talking about Secret World and how they at least allowed you to get some cosmetics if you did enough stuff in the old game or whatever. So
right, but
well,
I also pointed out that they were doing
over some of our stuff.
Well, not only that, this was the opposite too. Secret World was going from buy to play to free.
Sure.
This wasn't pulling the what's the other game that did this just not too long ago? Faria, right? That like strategy game that all of a sudden was like, yeah, we're not gonna be free to play anymore. We're gonna be buy to play. So kind of of, doing the same thing. I mean, to me, it's Jason. I think you're right. It kind of smacks of Gamigo saying, "We think there's something here. We think you guys screwed it up the way you did it. We're gonna give this a shot, but if it doesn't pan out, we're out. We have nothing vested as far as wanting this to succeed. Besides, we bought Try On Worlds, and we'd like this to make some money. If it doesn't, we're out." That's kind of the way this feels to me. Speaking of that, Try On Worlds, Gamigo is settling that lawsuit that was going on for like 4 years against Try On Worlds for all the ArcheAge bait and switchy advertising things they did with the false advertisement when ArcheAge was launching here in the West. That is finally being settled. We don't know what the details of the settlement are, but Try On World's old insurer is going to be the one handing out the payments. So that's good news, I guess, Jason?
The funny thing is, it wasn't part of the earlier lawsuit that Try On Worlds no longer exists as a company. And yet,
Right.
this ArcheAge announcement was on comingsoon.tryonworlds.com.
Yeah.
There's a Try On Worlds logo all over the site. So it's
I put that in the chat. I was like, ha ha ha, URL is Try On Worlds. Love it. I don't know. To me, Jason, I get the feeling you don't care. You're not going to try this when it comes out.
No.
Q, you weren't really interested in ArcheAge originally, so I can't imagine you're going to jump into this one, right?
Not if I have to pay for it.
Right.
Let me just say though too that when it was first coming out, when it was first getting announced, we were covering it on Game Break or whatever. I looked at this and thought, hey, this looks kind of neat. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Right.
And then when it came out in the free to play and then all the other crap that went with it, I said nope. And that's where I feel like a lot of other people are going to be at this point. Like even if you think ArcheAge sounded good, the last 5 years of hearing nothing but crap about it is going to turn you off from it. So.
Yeah. What's the old saying? Fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
Right. I can't say for sure whether I'm going to try it out or not. To me, a lot of it depends. In fact, all of it at this point depends on price. You want to get 10 or 15 bucks from me, maybe even 20, fine. I start seeing like 30, 50, and $70 packs. Nah, have fun. Go play your game. Before we head over to the bombs, let's take a look at 2 first looks we put up. 2 weeks ago, Jason, you did one for Steel Circus. Yesterday, we put up one for the Cycle that Jason and I did a dual first look on. Let's talk about Steel Circus first, because I think it's a lot shorter. This one, I'm going to let you talk about what the game is a little bit, Jason, for our viewers. If you haven't watched the first look, go check it out on the site. To me, while it looked kind of neat, it's not something I would play, so there's my opinion of it right now. Jason, give us the lowdown on Steel Circus.
It looks neat, but it's not something that I want to play a whole lot of.
All right.
So I'm kind of almost exactly with you. Basically, it's like football, soccer, whatever. Only it's a sci-fi setting. Characters have a few special abilities they can use. But otherwise, it's basically, kick the ball, pass the ball, score the ball. Use your abilities to, knock players out or teleport around the field or whatever you're going to do. So it's a little like they actually compare it a little bit to Rocket League, which it's 3v3. You're trying to score goals, even though it's got more of it's an overhead kind of view, not the first person or third person like Rocket League. But otherwise, basically that same kind of thing, only with special powers thrown in. And it's kind of a neat thing. It's actually doing reasonably well on Steam, from what I can see. So it's gonna have its fans if you like FIFA or something like that, but you want something with a little more spice, I guess. Give it a shot, but make absolutely sure you've got a controller if you're gonna play for real, because it's really tough to play with keyboard and mouse.
That made me think of one thing that we should say, like making money on these games. On the ArcheAge thing, just to go back for a second, the way that's going to be monetized is not only are you paying for the box, they're going to sell season passes. So I can't wait to see what's in those, he said sarcastically. Q, what were your thoughts on Steel Circus? Are you in the same boat Jason and I are? Cute, looks fun, looks interesting, just not
I think
my
it
type
looks
of
like
game.
something I would watch. It looks like something I would watch other people play.
Oh, it's an esport.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, it is an esport.
It's a sport. Yeah, okay, whatever.
It is an e-sport. I mean, by the literal definition of an electronic sport. It is an electronic sport. Q, I'm kind of with you. Like, I enjoyed watching Jason play it. Although, Jason, your defense left a little to be desired on on the first look video.
He's like, should have blocked him.
Yeah, he was like, wow, I totally whiffed on that. I did like when you threw up the barrier and trapped your own teammate in it. That was especially helpful.
I'm so good.
you were the best at Steel Circus. Maybe I'll give it a whirl and try it here and there. I think it is definitely the type of thing that you might enjoy with, two friends. Go and just have a blast.
Sure.
But it's not something that I would, good, wake up, let's play some Steel Circus.
That's because neither of us have two friends.
Right, yeah. And that's weird considering that there's three of us here.
I don't like you.
So what are you saying, Jason? What are you saying here?
On the flip side, I did enjoy the cycle much more than I thought I would. The Cycle is a game by Jaeger. That's the team behind Dreadnought, the mega big spaceship battle-y World of Warships type of game. The Cycle kind of blends PvPvE into some tropes from Battle Royale, into competitive gameplay package with, it almost feels like missions in it. There is no genre that I could just say, hey, it's a Battle Royale. It's not. It shares some features. It's not a competitive game, but it is, in some respects. It is mission-based, but it's not all about missions. You basically run around a map for 20 minutes. You have 20-minute matches like a Battle Royale or an Overwatch or anything like that, a hero shooter. You have 20-minute matches, but the point is to run around the map and complete as many contracts as possible. Contracts might be in the way of something PvE-related. Head to a spot, throw down a drill, protect it while it mines ore for you, and then collect that ore. Or they could be PvP related. Jason has killed a couple of people. He's been marked as ruthless on the map. Taking him out as a bounty nets you a contract completion. You have 20 minutes to complete as many of these contracts as possible while trying to prevent other prospectors from doing the same. It's a 20-person 20-minute extravaganza, and then, by the way, at the end of which the planet goes apeshit storm-wise every 20 minutes and tries to kill you, so you have to be evac'd. There's no shrinking map or anything. It's just you got to finish an evac before the 20-minute timer because the cycle on the planet is going to kill you if you stay there. You can squad up on the fly with total strangers in the middle of a match. You can queue up with duos or a full squad of 4. Either way, all the modes have 20 people in them. There's a lot more to it. Crafting, progression, loadouts, skins, all that, emotes, all that fun stuff. But at the end of the day, Jason, I really didn't expect to enjoy this one at all. I expected to go in, cover it for the first look, and then uninstall it. It is still on my computer. I have played it after the first look yesterday. I played it a little bit this morning before I got started working today, too. I am enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, same here. Although I think one of the things what I talk about on the video, too, is how, it's nice that it adds kind of a PvE element. I think that could be something that gets a little more focus in a Battle Royale type game where you just go around and try to complete stuff in a time limit or something like that. And then what I realized, too, was even when I lose, I've probably completed like 1 or 2 missions. Missions, they're called. Anyway.
Contracts.
Probably contracts, that's what it is. I completed a couple of those, so my end screen says, okay, you completed 2 contracts, you get this much XP or whatever. I'm bad enough at Battle Royales, like a real Battle Royale, that when I get in, I'll run around for 8 to 10 minutes and do some stuff, and then I get killed, and it's like, oh, you had 0 kills. You suck. At least with this, when I finish it, I get the feeling that I did something. Yep. I accomplished something. I get some little number that says, hey, I did two contracts, so at least I got that much. I think that's a kind of interesting way to go. Now, obviously, some people can go in and be much more PK focused. You even talk about it on the map. You can see areas where there are a lot of people, so you can go towards those or avoid them if that's your how you want to play it. But
which I think was really smart of them to do. I think that was a really smart feature on Jaeger's side.
So yeah, I think it's an interesting way to go, and like I said, I hope it leads to a little more innovation in this kind of genre going forward.
Yeah, and I like that the progression is mid-match stuff. So, like you said, even if you go into a match, you totally bomb out, you do 2 contracts, you're dead in 6 minutes, you don't even make it through the whole 20 minutes. You do have that experience gain, that materials gain, that reputation gain with one of the 3 factions, and you can still move forward with crafting that next big item, that weapon, that gadget, or whatever. All in all, I want to see more, right? It's in early access now, and I had some tech issues that Jason didn't have, so it seems a little sporadic, maybe independent or maybe dependent on your particular rig or your internet connection on any given day, so mileage may vary on the game's performance. But I am eager to see where this goes. Right now, there is no cash shop. You can buy a Founders Pack, and it gives you in-game currency, but there's nothing you can spend it on yet. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling this is going to go the loot box route. It is definitely going to be the skins and emotes route. They've already said that. I would like to not see loot boxes in here, but I have a feeling just based on the type of game that they're going to be there, Overwatch style, and that may turn me off at that point. But for right now, this game is still on my computer and is something that I actually look forward to. You know what? Hey, when I'm done doing this, I'm going to get a match or 2, which there has never been a battle royale that did that. Will it keep me that way? I don't know. Q, after watching the first look, what did you think?
It's one of those things that I probably wouldn't bother with just based on the whole time limited thing and stuff like that. I mean, if I sit down for a gaming session, I usually intend to be there for a pretty good while, and I'm just not, it's just not my area.
So couldn't get you interested.
Probably not.
We tried. We
We gave our best sales pitch.
We did.
You tried so hard.
But in the end, nobody's going to go with me.
I'll go with you. I'll go down to the planet with you. You can carry me.
No. I think Q, you came with me, but you wouldn't say it. You couldn't say.
Nothing else matters.
Yeah, let's go to the weekly bombs. Q, you're up.
I'm giving a semi-bomb to actually having my PC back.
Hey, congrats.
Although it's being a little bit hinky and weird, but it's back. So I guess that's something.
That's a step in the right direction. Jason, you're up.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to mashed potatoes because I had some the other day and they were just really good.
Aren't they?
Yeah, I know.
Appreciate the simplicity there.
Yeah, but don't put gravy on them. That's disgusting.
Oh, okay. Now I don't like your bomb anymore. Gravy.
No, I'm out too, man.
Gravy on mashed potatoes is delicious.
No, God, gravy is for meat.
Some nice giblet gravy.
You put gravy on your vegetables all the time.
I'm sorry, Jason. I can't hear you. Q and I were talking.
You probably like that KFC bowl with all the crap on it, don't you?
KFC bowls?
Giblet
Oh,
gravy?
hell yeah.
Oh my
God. Oh yeah, those are great.
Oh my God. I'll run the train on a KFC bowl.
That's what potatoes are for. They are a blank canvas that you paint on with every other food item.
Thank you, Q, the Bob Ross of food. Just a happy little mistake, mashed potato. I'm gonna give
gravy on your mashed potatoes is an unhappy little accident.
No, it's a fantastic little accident.
Which how you think?
Oh my God, you're such an awful person, Jason. I'm going to give a dub bomb to the Vandal class coming to Ion. Not because I particularly enjoy the class or anything, but I am still happy to see that game being around, getting those types of updates. I wish we had a nice big group we could still play that. Really, it's only Q and I that are kind of interested in ever dabbling in that anymore. So maybe Q.
Yeah, but with that addition, they took out 2 more things.
Yeah, they did.
This is Ion.
Yeah.
We're going to add something and take away.
Yep. Go visit these dungeons because we're shutting them down. Because that's what happens in the real world. Emiko-chan13 from the viewer says, gambling machines have to work on the correct odds, talking about our conversation last week where the ESA and a bunch of the big gaming companies are now deciding, hey, we're going to publish the loot boxes, the odds, to which we said, yeah, you can't self-regulate. That makes no sense. Emiko-chan saying the same thing. Gambling machines have to work on the correct odds. They are audited, and it's illegal to say the wrong ones. If they post the odds that are inaccurate, that's not really the issue with loot boxes. You're absolutely right. There's also a third party that goes in and does that auditing of said gambling machines, which would not happen here under what the ESA has put forward. So we are totally in line with you, Emiko-chan. Go ahead, Jason.
Sokapek says, Double Almond to Warframe, it is so good. So good. Is it better than mashed potatoes, though?
Ooh.
Warframe or mashed potatoes?
Depends on if I'm hungry. Q, go ahead.
Now I'm just imagining eating a Warframe. Asriel Sword. To expand on an earlier point from Jason, Activision already patented that matchmaking algorithm where they can match players against premium geared players to entice the former to buy more premium goods, i.e. microtransactions. The patent was filed back in 2015, but not noticed or reported until 2017. Individual players would never notice these kinds of subtle changes, so loot box drops, odd manipulation is right up there too. We're beyond the point where we can simply take publishers at their words for anything anymore.
Totally true. And yeah, we did. We had a long chat about that patent on a free-to-play cast a few years ago. Joshua Knight says, Dub Bomb to DC Universe Online on Switch. It runs amazingly. I played quite a bit on the PlayStation 3 back in the day, my first MMORPG, which I did Endgame on. I'm hoping it opens the doors to more games coming to the Switch. Personally, I would love Star Trek Online and Path of Exile on my Switch. I wouldn't hold your breath for Star Trek Online, but I could see Path of Exile making that jump at some point. It's already done the Xbox and the PlayStation jump.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they got ExileCon coming up in a couple months. If they're going to make a big announcement like that, that'll be the place to do it.
Yep. Go ahead, Q or Jason.
Polo Bornfly says, A-Bomb for Legends of Aria. I know it's not free to play, and I missed last week's show. I assume he was talking about 2 weeks ago because there was no show last week. Sorry if this is a repeat, A-Bomb, but my goodness, this game was kickstarted with the promise of bringing back that Ultima Online open world PvP. Just to launch on Steam with that being the biggest sale in the game being removed. Open world PvP gone. Why, Aria? Why ruin the main reason why people came back to this game? They just turned it into a PvE grindfest with no risk involved now. What a waste. This game will be free to play pretty soon, I'm sure of it. Thanks for being awesome and let me vent a little. Lol.
Lol.
Let me see. How's that game going?
Here we go. Steam charts incoming.
Legends of Aria. There's an experimental client which has 0 people online. There's no other mention of it. So, all right, do your bomb, and I'll keep looking into this.
Go ahead, Q. Finish it up.
All right, G2G Chat Faf. I don't think many adults play games on their phone for longer periods of time. You haven't met me, but kids do. And I remember I did as many, and many of my friends did the same, but Guild Wars 2 isn't really a kid-friendly game, so I don't get why they'd make Guild Wars 2 a mobile game. Weird.
Yeah, and totally valid point. You know, we're looking at the perspective of most of us that are playing really in-depth MMOs and that type of thing. We're not interested in playing that stuff on mobile. We want to sit down at our PC or our laptop and do it. But I could see, if they're going to do something Guild Wars 2 mobile related, I don't think it's going to be Guild Wars 2. I think it's just going to rip the damn IP and do something else. You know, Guild Wars 2.
It'll be like Ion 2.
Yeah.
It'll be like the new Ion game.
I agree. Yeah, something like that. Jason, before we go to the weekly question of the week, did you have an update there?
Yeah, I did find it. First of all, it's got a mixed review on Steam, 58% positive, and it's averaging about 600 or 700 players. Came out 2 weeks ago.
Doing better than H1Z1.
Better than Artifact.
Question of the week, last show. Would you want your MMO ported to a mobile device, or are you satisfied with just playing on your PC or console? Guestley says, hello, I'd probably not like it. Here's a few reasons why. 1, mobile devices are still not there for gaming for extended periods of time, aka a few hours of daily grinding or leveling or gearing up. Devices get hot, not comfortable, and it literally kills your device battery life. Most devices nowadays don't support battery change. So yes, you can buy powerful devices, change batteries in services, buy peripherals for cooling and controls, sharing a screen on your TV, etc., but it costs a lot. For what? A game filled with microtransactions, loot boxes, boosts, and a lot of different currencies and deals all over your little screen, and performance, graphics, audio would be downgraded a lot. And if you decided to share with a bigger screen, prepare to return to early 2000 gaming textures. Forget mass PvP, raids, and with that money, you could just get a decent gaming PC. 2, the MMORPG that I played the most was Lineage 2 in my school days. When I saw what happened with Lineage 2 Revolution, it made me sad. Simply took the IP, turned it into a mobile microtransactions machine. For me, someone who played Lineage 2 for years, it was really disappointing. No developer or publisher will turn an existing game and make 100% as it was on PC. They'll use the IP and assets to look similar. It's not possible for good, even decent performance, and the mobile market makes way too much money, and the game will need to appeal to a mobile market, not to the PC player market. Sorry, that was more like a rant than an opinion. Thanks for your work, as always. Great points, Guestley. Great points. Thank you for chiming in. Go ahead, Jason.
Breckner Catalan says, question of the week, I care so much about mobile gaming that my phone is a Nokia C1.
Yes! Classic. Go ahead, Q.
Because I play MMORPGs on PC now and forever because of the keyboard. Much easier to chat with a keyboard, and what are MMORPGs without chatting? I might as well play a single-player game then.
Also fair point. Excel Kobayashi says, hold on, let me get my screen there. Question of the week, 0 interest in mobile gaming. Doesn't matter what the game is, what the feature the game has, or what device it is. Playing on a phone will always be crap. Yeah, Miko-chan, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I broke this up. That's because this was the question of the week, and we did your bomb. Jason Winter, go ahead.
Miko-chan13 says, yeah, I tried Guild Wars 2 Warframe mobile, but it makes me sad in my soul. I played my first mobile game this year, and it's frustratingly designed, constantly trying to manipulate me.
Yeah, that's about par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
Q, go ahead.
Squeezy question of the week. Hell no. I'm imagining a table flip after that for some reason. I would love to play my favorite MMO on the go, but I don't trust publishers enough to actually support them releasing any mobile game. I have yet to see any mobile game that is actually fair. You either have to buy to get the good cards, characters, or you have to pay for stamina, hearts, energy to actually keep playing. Imagine playing Mobile Path of Exile. After you finish each act, you have to wait for 1 hour. Oh my God, for your stamina to recharge, or pay X gold to keep playing it. After you start running maps, you will also need to use Atlas vouchers to activate your map. And you realize you've just basically explained to them how to make a mobile Path of Exile, right? And there's less than 0.1% chance of it dropping, but you can pay 10 gold for 5 vouchers.
I'd like to think Grinding Gear Games, if they did make the PoE mobile, they would not put the good reputation that has as a free-to-play game to shit by doing this type of stuff on mobile. Finishing off, Noob Professional says, Phantasy Star Online 2 mobile adds a lot of free benefits if you're interested in the actual game. See, now that kind of stuff I dig. Like, I don't use it, but Final Fantasy XIV's companion app, I don't like some of the features. Like, I can get behind that type of stuff. Or even like, hey, if you play Phantasy Star Online 2, here's a little mobile game, and if you play this, it gets you some perks in both, and there's some cross-event. That I'm cool with. Let's do that. Let's stick to that. Question of the week this week. Will you actually play ArcheAge Unchained? And if you say yes, I want you to tell me how much you're willing to pay. What is your cap that you're immediately out? If they say $20, are you still in? If they say 30, are you still in for giving it a shot? Let us know in the comments below what you think. If it doesn't matter, cost doesn't matter, and you aren't going to play it, let me know that too. Don't forget your weekly bombs while you're down there. D-bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad, your question for the panel, or anything else you want to talk, rant, or vent about. Put it there. We'll cover it on next week's show. Until then, Q, where can everybody find you?
Spending a lot of time talking to Good Omens people on Twitter at Quitland.
There you go. Jason.
On Twitter at Winter Reform, while streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter and upstairs in the kitchen making mashed potatoes without gravy.
Savage.
So wrong.
What a savage. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me on Twitter right there. If I can get the camera screen to come up. There it is, at magicman1. But more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you with all the news, giveaways, free-to-play cast, first look videos, interviews, and more. Until next time, gang, you stay safe, and we'll see you out on the servers.